Okay. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, we are doing, obviously, as you can see from the great screen here, my great production team put together this slide for me. And by production team, I mean me. This is a one-man band. This is a one-man show. We're talking about legit UFC prospects, one from each division. I don't know how I came up with legit UFC prospects. I don't think that's going to be the title of this video. I think it's going to be more of favorite because I'm going to be naming off like some, younger prospects in some aspects, but then also like, it's not really best prospects because like it is still subjective, but I don't think like everyone I named is going to be a champion or top 10 ranked one day. It's just like my favorite prospects in each division. Like I'm turning into all of their fights. And I look forward the most to each of them in their division. Before I start this, I do want to say I started a TikTok, CamMMA on TikTok. Go follow that. Go make sure you guys like all that bullshit on TikTok. I don't really use TikTok, but I was told that's where you got to go if you want to actually make this into something. So I started that, uploaded a few of my shorts that I posted on YouTube onto TikTok, and they're doing better than they are on YouTube. So I think the person that told me that was right. All right. Sorry about that. Shout out to Seven Brew. Sponsorship coming soon. The next I want to say about the video. There's not going to be any ranked fighters here, so don't give me bullshit because I didn't pick Josh Hochik for the heavyweight division, the dude's in the top 5. Don't give me bullshit because I didn't pick, Kevin Vallejos. You know what I mean? He's already ranked. He's out of that prospect talk, in my opinion. There is like one or two fighters on here that are like a fight away from being ranked, or maybe already have a scheduled fight in the rankings. But you guys will see that when we get there. So to start here, okay, perfect. I'm sorry, I've like never used fucking Google Slides before since school, so I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. But okay, flyweight division. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Let me move this camera. Okay, perfect. It actually is perfect over there. We have flyweight Andre Lima. Andre Lima, 27 years old, and you see the great facts I have here about him. He's 11-0, 4-0 in the UFC. Upcoming fight versus Kevin Bojas, which, like, honestly, he's 10-5. Like, he kind of loses a lot. But like, if you look at his losses, Kevin Bojas is who I'm talking about. He literally only fights like kind of up and coming guys. So like, this is not a bad fight by whatever it means. Like Andre Lima should beat him, and he's like, he's going to beat him, I think. But like, this is not a bad fight. You think of like prospects. I mean, in the fact that he's 4-0, it's a little weird he's fighting Bojas when Bojas is like, not all that great. But I think Andre Lima is just solid. The flyweight division is kind of weird. I've talked about this in former videos. I think last video maybe. Like the flyweight division doesn't have a bunch of huge prospects because a lot of times, like at flyweight, a lot of those prospects end up moving up to bantamweight. We've seen it so many times before. So flyweight's a little weird. It's kind of a thin division, not as thin as like the heavyweight or like even the light heavyweight division, but it's very top heavy, and it doesn't help that like Joshua Van and Tatsuo Taira aren't considered prospects. Obviously, one of them is the champion, and one of them is fighting for the championship. So it's like there's those guys, and but I ended up going with Andre Lima just because I think he's solid and got a contract in 2023 on Dana White's Contender Series. You're gonna see a few Dana White Contender Series guys, especially from this last season they did. But, and he has a good team he trains with. I put this for every fighter, too, just in case, because I was curious to learn where all these fighters trained, but also for you guys as well if you didn't know. He trains at the gym with Kevin Vallejos and Talis and Teixeira. Those are, on the majority of them, I just put, like, the top guys. But you'll see later on, like, some of these prospects are the best guys at their gyms. So, but yeah, I mean, he's a solid fighter. I don't, never say never when it comes to being a champion. I think he'll be ranked definitely one day, maybe even in top 10. But we'll just see. And yeah, so now on. All right, sorry, I had to pause, but I'm back. Okay. But yeah, Andre Lima, solid prospect. I could see him getting into the rankings. I think if he beats Kevin Bojas, honestly, like 5-0 in the UFC at flyweight. I'd say you give him somebody in the 10 to 15 range. The only reason why I didn't like match make him is because he already has a fight, and I probably honestly should have done that with the rest of them. But some of these guys have only had one fight in the UFC. Like, who are you really gonna match make some of these super young guys against? It's probably gonna be guys coming off of a bunch of losses and or maybe debuting guys. But yeah, so Andre Lima for the flyweight. As we move on to the bantamweight division, Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing obviously has a huge fan base now in the UFC. 2-0 in the UFC, 10-2 overall. 28 years old. He's a guy, I mean, I've seen all of his fights in the UFC, obviously. Short notice victory over Malcolm Wellmaker, went to decision, but he just absolutely beat him up. I want to say 30-27. It happened quite a while ago, but still 30-27 to him, I think. And just a super underdog victory. And then even his last win over Rafael Esteban, that's another guy like who I was talking about last slide with the flyweights. Like, this is a former flyweight top prospect moving over to bantamweight because he missed weight, and Ethan Ewing handles him pretty easily, gets him out of there with a body shot in the third round. I mean, he's just super it's so weird because he's not underrated, obviously, like fans love him, but he's just such a good fighter, and I really think he has a super bright future. Like, honestly, I could see him fighting in the rankings his next fight because, like, Rafael Esteban is a good win. That's a really good win. And even Malcolm Wellmaker was on, like, a 3-fight win streak. Like, he was probably looking to fight into the rankings next. So, I think Ethan Ewing is probably going to be going in the rankings next. I didn't give him a matchmake because it's just, like, kind of tough because you never know when these guys are going to fight next. But I think he's so solid, and I think he's gonna. I'm not gonna say a future champion, but I think he'll easily. His floor to me is that 10 to 15 range, and his ceiling would be him being the champion. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say on Ethan Ewing because like everyone already kind of knows. But if you don't know, like now you know. Like look out for this guy. You want to watch his fights. They're entertaining, and yeah, I look forward to his next fight. As we move on to the featherweight division, Larry Ann Douglas. This was a tough one. Featherweight was probably the hardest one for me. Because you'll even see, like, this is the only slide where I put honorable mentions there at the bottom. But Larry Ann Douglas, to me, is the best of the bunch. And I'll get to that when I get down to the bottom. But he's 14-5, 1-0 in the UFC, and he's 30 years old. Like, he's an older vet. 30's not old, but, he's an older prospect. You kind of think these prospects are in the mid-20s, maybe high 20s, but like 30, that's not too crazily old, And what I like about Larry Ann Douglas is he has losses. Like, he's not someone who's only had one loss or 2 losses or no losses. He's 14-5, coming off of a very impressive debut over a UFC veteran, like a guy in Julian Arrezo, Juicy J, who has now had 18 fights in the UFC and handled him easily. So, and even in his contender series, as you see in my notes here, against Cam Teague, for a regional guy, his only loss to Kevin Vallejos on Dana White's contender series before, and Larry Ann Douglas knocked him out in like 30 seconds. So that's why I ended up going Larry Ann Douglas. I just feel like he's super good, and he trains with a great team as well. His head coach is Cub Swanson. We've seen great guys come out of that camp, and even Cub Swanson in his last fight, and he just gives off great head coach. And then like I threw Rafa Garcia also trains there as well. I think it's in California. But Rafa Garcia's got a fight coming up this weekend, and he's solid as well. So there's a lot of solid names at this that trains here. A lot of guys to help him. Obviously got a contract at the West Contender Series last year, the last season they had. But yeah, I see a super bright future for Larry Ann Douglas. Like I said, do I see him winning the title? It's possible. I could see him kind of going on a Diego Lopez type run where he gets up those rankings. He's just super well-rounded, and like featherweight's so stacked when it comes to like up-and-coming fighters. Like just so stacked. Because you see my honorable mention here. Marcio Barbosa here had an amazing knockout last weekend, and he is on like the same level, as Larry Douglas. Except for I just think Larry Douglas has shown more in his one fight in the UFC. Didn't consider series. And then I threw Tommy McMillan just because I know a lot of people are probably would be asking for him. Uh, Tommy McMillan to me is a good prospect. I think he's a fun prospect. I don't think he's like going to be a champion anytime soon or ever. I would bet money on that. I think it definitely helps that he's, with Sean O'Malley, and he just kind of looks like him and embodies him in a way. But he's just kind of too chinny, and I could just see him. He's still, in my opinion, gonna get up to those rankings at some point. But yeah, I ended up going Larry Douglas. If you guys haven't seen this guy fight, go check it out. He's a fun fighter, super fun fighter, and I'll definitely be looking forward to his next fight. I don't think that they're gonna throw him in the rankings after one win, but Juicy J's a good win though. So I think maybe he gets one, maybe two more. Just keep staying active, and he'll get up in those rankings before we know it. As we move on to lightweight here with Quillen Southkill. So this one, and then there's another one where it's like, okay, like these are like prospects that are going to be ranked within their next fight. If not their next fight, then the fight after that. And you'll see what I mean, because I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but, well, you'll see what I mean when I get there. Quillen Southkill is probably the best prospect in the UFC. One of them that is probably the best young fighter that's not ranked. We'll say that. I think he's the second best because the person I have at welterweight I think is the best, and he's my favorite prospect. But we will get there. Quillen Southkill, 11-1, 4-0 in the UFC, only 26 years old, one of the youngest fighters that I have on this list, but 4 solid wins in the UFC, including a contender series victory over Gage Young. Gage Young's in the UFC and just got a win last weekend. So, all great, all decent wins. I know who was the guy he fucking fought last week? I don't even think it was Jamie Malarkey, but it's one of those dudes, like, that he fought last fight, not last week, but last fight. It was short notice. He gets out there and finishes him easily in the first round, knocks out Hash Brat. Just and then he also had like a 19-second finish. I don't know. This guy is super entertaining, very well rounded, as I say there, and has an upcoming fight with Beneil Dariush, who is ranked and is a veteran of the game, and he's a heavy favorite to win that, and that's next weekend. So you'll definitely see me picking him next weekend to win that fight. But yeah, sorry, I paused, so I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying, because I had to fucking handle something. But for the second time in this video, it was crazy. But yeah, so he has a fight coming up with Beneil Dariush, and I think he's a heavy favorite. Everyone's going to be picking him to win. I think he's going to win. He's going to finish him probably in the first round or maybe second round. Dariush is way past his prime, and this is just a great way for him to get up into those rankings. So, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and that'll be a great fight night as well. So look out for my content on that following this fight night this weekend. But on to the next one, Jacoby Smith, the best prospect in the UFC. Put some respect on his name. He's 12-0, 3-0 in the UFC, 30 years old. Like it says, my favorite prospect in the UFC. Most well-rounded prospect. Beat you on the feet and on the ground. This dude's just all around a monster. Needs a fight in those rankings. Maybe you give him one more outside of the rankings, but he needs a fight in the rankings. Coming off of a disgusting knockout. Absolutely destroyed the other guy who was debuting and was also undefeated. And another thing about Jacoby Smith, I swear to God, if the UFC puts this motherfucker back into Apex, I'm crashing out. He has 3 fights in the UFC, only 1 on a pay-per-view card, which was like the prelims, which is fine. Put this motherfucker in front of a crowd. What are we doing? This is a big prospect, and I don't want to, why are we putting him in the Apex? No offense to people that fight in the Apex, whatever, that's fine. But it's just like, Jacoby Smith, we need to be building as a big name in the welterweight division. Welterweight division is obviously pretty stacked, but I mean, he's just another name in that division, And I think he's got a great future ahead of him. Once Islam retires, once you know all these other guys kind of fizzle out, Jacoby Smith is coming for that belt. This is the only there's two prospects on here that I like will predict will be future champions, and he's one of them. And I know it's so tough in that division. He's going to have to beat a lot of great guys, but I think he's that good. I genuinely think he's that good, and he is going to be coming for that belt, and we are witnessing greatness right now. So if you ain't clocked in on the Jacoby Smith hype train, if you're not riding the train right now, you need to get a seat. This dude's great. He's gonna be great for a long time, and that's all I can really say about him. I don't want to glaze him too hard, but he's my favorite prospect in UFC for a reason. As we move on to the middleweight division, Damian Pinas. A lot of people like Damian Pinas for different reasons. I'm not going to mention his name. I think he's good. I think he's actually pretty solid. There's so many different ways I could have went with the middleweight division. I didn't put Gutierrez just because I think like he's kind of fraudulent. I think he's still going to get into the rankings and be a good fighter. I just don't see him. Like, I don't think he lives up fully to the hype that he had before. He has a fight coming up as well in a few weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But even then, like, he's still just not fighting big unranked names at middleweight. Either is Damian Pinas. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm sure Gutierrez's ceiling is a lot bigger than Pinas's is. But he's coming off of a victory over Wes Schultz, who was also making his debut from the same Contender Series class. He's only 24. And even here I put, you need to build this guy up slow. He's 24 years old. He's still just super raw. He has good power and good striking, but he's just so raw. They've got to build him up slow. And I think that's what they're doing. Because his next fight's against Cesar Almeida on 319, which is nice that he is not fighting the Apex again. He's going to be fighting in front of a crowd, which I think is great. And Cesar Almeida is kind of like an older guy with not a lot of fight. Like, I mean, Damian has more pro MMA fights than Cesar does. But he's kind of older, more of a vet, has wins in the UFC. But I just think he just has really good striking, really good power. I think he's so raw, but his potential is there. And I think he'll become a fan favorite because of his name. I think my fucking face cam is blocking his name off a little bit, but I've said it a few times. Baba Yaga, like, that's just a great nickname as well. And he trains with a bunch of up-and-coming Brazilians. But he also does train with Jose Aldo as well. And, he just trains with a bunch of Brazilians, which I don't even think he's really even from I don't think he's from South America, but, I mean, you can fucking tell me that in the comments because, yeah, fuck it. But, yeah, that's all I really got to say about Damian here. As we move on to light heavyweight, see, this is another instance of there is probably better overall prospects out there, but if we're speaking of my favorite, Iwo Baranuski is my favorite light heavyweight prospect. 8-0, 2-0 in the UFC, super raw, just super raw, 27 years old. 2 straight finishes in the UFC in under 90 seconds. I mean, dude just puts on bangers. He was awarded a contract on Dana White's Contender Series in 2025, another guy like that. And then he has been super active as well. That's what I love about him. He gets signed on to the UFC, fights on 323, had a fight. I want to say he fought like on the England card, the Evloev Murphy card, and then now he's going to be fighting in June on the fight right before the White House card, the Bilal Muhammad card, against Billy Alcana, something like that. Sorry, I'm horrible with names, but and he's coming off a win over Junior Tafa, and he's coming off of wins, and so this is definitely his hardest comp, and he was actually, and I made a video on this, he was offered the Bogdan Guskov fight. I don't think he took it though, because I haven't really heard anything else, because Bogdan Guskov Was supposed to fight Jan Blachowicz at 328, but obviously that got canceled with the injury to Jan Blachowicz. It was offered to Iwan Baranuski, reportedly, and I haven't heard anything since, so I'm assuming he declined it. And he trains in Poland. He's just easily the best fighter at his gym as well, which, is a good and bad thing, I guess. But putting on for his Polish people. But yeah, super solid. Just super fun fighter as well. Just goes for the finishes. If you want to put Abdul Rachmanov, whatever, that's fine. For the life of me, if I saw his name, I could say it, but it's very, very long. But you know who I'm talking about. If you wanted to put him, go ahead. That's fair. He probably has the higher ceiling, but Iwo Baranuski, I'm just looking forward to seeing him fight. He is kind of small for heavyweight in a way. I do just feel like he does, if I can remember correctly, he be coming in underweight sometimes, 204, 203. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I want to say it might have been him. But still, super fun fighter. If you guys haven't seen any of his fights, go look him up. It literally takes 2 seconds to watch both of his fights in the UFC. Even his 1 second knockout that happened on Contender Series was against a guy who literally was super accomplished, in a bunch of different aspects of MMA. So it is super cool, that he got the upset, went on Contender Series, and then has went on and been good in the UFC so far. So definitely looking out for him. And then the heavyweight division, I had to put Gable Steveson, and it's Gable Steveson, not Gable Stevenson, just for anyone out there that doesn't know. I'm not trying to be rude about it. I know I've seen a lot of people call him Gable Stevenson. I'm not great with names either, but I'll put that. And I know his name's cut off because of my camera, but there's nowhere else to go with this heavyweight division, if I'm being honest. Brando Pericic, is there. But, literally, guys coming off of losing streaks, unranked heavyweights coming off of losing streaks get ranked fighters. So, it just doesn't even really matter in the heavyweight division. There's no real prospects, because once you make your debut, you're damn near not even a prospect anymore. There's Mario Pinto. I think he's all right. I think he is ranked material, but who isn't in this division? Gable Stevenson's only 3-0. He hasn't made his debut yet. He's fighting UFC 329 in July. We don't know who he's fighting against. Who knows? Will it be a ranked guy? Will it be an unranked guy? We don't know yet. I think he could be a decent amount of ranked guys. I wouldn't just throw him the title right away, but, he's a big name, and obviously... a world-class wrestler, Olympic gold medalist, 2-time, I want to say. And then obviously was great in college as well. Went to the WWE for a little bit, went to the NFL for a little bit, but ended up finding John Jones and then Jackson Wink MMA Academy and training there. Steve Garcia also trains there. I made sure to throw him in because he's got a fight on the White House card. But yeah, he's going to move up quickly. Hate him or love him, unless he loses his debut to someone that's outside of the rankings. I don't see a world where he's not, in the top 10 within 2 fights. So, but yeah, so basically that'll be it, as I'm going to scroll all the way back over to the beginning to do a little outro here. I just want to say I appreciate for all the love and all the support. If you guys are still here and during this video at the end here, then it definitely goes out to you guys that are still here at the end of this video. But, I've just really kind of been feeling more and more comfortable with recording these videos and doing these videos for you guys. I got a TikTok, so, that's just for more outreach. And then, obviously, if you guys were here from whenever I was just on YouTube, that's great. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. And as we continue to try to build here as a community and stuff, so if you have anything to comment on about this video or anything, any ideas or anything like that you think I should be making videos on, let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys like if you did like the video. If you didn't like the video, don't like. Simple as that. And make sure you turn on the notifications and subscribe and stuff, because subscribing is free, man. You should just do it. And then if you don't end up watching my videos anymore for whatever reason, you can unsubscribe at any time. But yeah, make sure you guys go check out my TikTok too. My TikTok. Keep enjoying the content. Hopefully, I'm gonna just keep making good content for you guys. Hopefully, the content is going up. You know, hopefully it's getting better and better every time. If you like this kind of format, let me know. If you didn't, let me know, because it did kind of take me a little bit to make all this. It made me feel like I was doing a school assignment, but it is what it is. I enjoy doing this for you guys, so I appreciate it. And yeah, so I will see you guys next time. The next time you'll see me on a long-term video like this will be Sunday morning, whenever I drop my reactions to Sterling versus Zalal. So I'll see you guys then, and yep, bye.